Okay, hello, welcome to day 99, I believe, which is crazy, but what's even crazier is that I was 174 this morning, which is definitely comfortably in the 170s, I would say. So I guess the real ending bulk weight would be 184, which is fast approaching, I hope, but I am kind of in a rush. And I ran out of keto bread, so I'm using regular bread today, and I use like the rest of the Catalina Crunch because there wasn't enough for another serving in there. So I will need to go to HEB, but I don't even know if I have money, so I might have to be like conservative with what I buy. But yeah, anyways, I am in a rush. My oatmeal's warming up, so here's the oatmeal, here's the macros, and here's my 4 eggs. I'll see y'all when I'm talking about or doing whatever I'm doing next. Goodbye. Okay. Hello. This is probably not what you'd expect to see after me eating my breakfast, but it's because it was raining today and I couldn't take my meal outside, or I could have, to show the macros. But here's the macros for my second meal. I just didn't record the video because I was feeling shy. Yeah, I've worked out, I've done everything but edit yesterday's video and read, but I do have my dinner here, which is it's a pretty strange one, but it looks so freaking good. And the reason because I didn't have any meat unfrozen, and then I only have one more chicken left, so I'm gonna save that one. Oh, I don't even have school Wednesday. Well, I'll just eat that chicken tomorrow. But I'm also super tired, so I don't really feel like cooking a huge meal like that. So for dinner, I have a yogurt bowl and a whole pineapple, basically. But yeah, I still need to read, and I don't know if I'm gonna build my Lego today. Like, I want to, but I'm also just so tired. No, I think I'll just wait till I'm on break or whatever. But yeah, nothing else really happened today. I just slept through like all my classes. Like, it was terrible. But and then I also took like a 30-minute nap in the dining hall, or like the food area, just at this table, because there was no one really there because the Panda Express was closed, and that's all people ever get. But yeah, so I've just been kind of sleeping all day, but I'm still super tired. But I did do my cardio. I stretched. My stretching was kind of cut off because I was in like I was in the room where they just have like these classes, and they were setting up for the class, so I kind of just like left. The only thing I didn't stretch was my hamstrings. But yeah, I did that. I hit legs, did cardio, all that jazz. So yeah, here's the macros for my dinner, my last meal. And here it is. Here's my yogurt bowl. I got a new cereal because Catalina Crunch is expensive, and I have like $2 in my account. Peanut butter, whole entire pineapple. Very excited to eat that. But yeah, I fear today's video might be short as well, but that's okay. Yeah, anyways, let me stop wasting time. I will see y'all when I am talking about what I read. Goodbye. Okay. Alright, I've done my reading for today, and the second chapter was more interesting than the first, so I'll just read the summary for the first one, because it's basically the distribution of 48 cities and their surrounding pasture lands to the tribe of Levi, which fulfilled God's command to provide a home for the Levites who had no land inheritance of their own. So at the beginning of the chapter, it basically says, this is chapter 22. So it says, the heads of the Levite families approached Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of families of the other tribes of the Israelites. So they approached all the leaders of Israel at Shiloh in the land of Canaan and said to them, the Lord commanded through Moses that cities be given to us to dwell in, with pasture lands for our livestock. I cannot speak, oh my gosh. Out of their own heritage, according to the command of the Lord, the Israelites gave the Levites the following cities with their pasture lands. So the Levites are basically going to the leaders and being like, all right, the Lord promised us that y'all would give us this land and their pasture lands for our animals and, for us to live in. And so that is what all the tribes of Israel do. They all give it says 48 cities in total, but at the end of the chapter, it kind of summarizes it really nicely. And it also sounds pretty cool. So it says, thus the total number of cities within the territory of the Israelites, which with their pasture lands belonged to the Levites, was 48. With each and every one of these cities went the pasture land round about it. And so the Lord gave Israel the entire land he had sworn to their ancestors he would give them. Once they had taken possession of it and dwelt in it, the Lord gave them peace on every side, just as he had promised their ancestors. Not one of their enemies could withstand them. The Lord gave all their enemies into their power. Not a single word of the blessing that the Lord had promised to the house of Israel failed. It all came true. So, it's basically just reiterating the fact that God's promise to the Israelites was fulfilled. But that is all of chapter 21. And so in chapter 22, it starts by Joshua summoning the 2.5 tribes that said they wouldn't live in the land of Canaan, but across the Jordan and inherit that land. And he says to them, you have observed all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and have listened to my voice in everything I commanded you. For many years now, even until today, you have not abandoned your allies, but have taken care to observe the commands of the Lord your God. Now that the Lord your God has settled your allies as he promised them, you may return to your tents, to your own land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you across the Jordan. But then he reminds them, but be careful to observe the commandment and the law which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you. Love the Lord your God, follow him in all his ways, keep his commandments, hold fast to him, and serve him with your whole heart and your whole self. Joshua then blessed them and sent them away, and they went away to their tents. So they crossed the Jordan, go to the land that they were promised that they could inherit once everything was settled in the promised land. And then, this is where I thought things were going to take a very scary turn. So the next part of this chapter is the altar beside the Jordan. And so basically it says that these 2.5 tribes, when they crossed the Jordan, they built an altar there at the Jordan. And it says that it was an impressively large altar. And so basically from across the Jordan, the rest of the Israelites see this. And the report says the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have built an altar in the region of the Jordan facing the land of Canaan across from the Israelites. And it says when the Israelites heard this, they assembled at Shiloh as the entire Israelite community to take military action against them. So all of Israel basically thinks that they built this altar to worship other gods or to basically forsake the Lord. And they're ready to crash out, right? They're like, oh, hell no, we're about to go take military action against them. And so then it says the next part is the accusation of the western tribes. And so it says the Israelites sent Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh in the land of Gilead, and with him 10 leaders, one from each tribe of Israel, each one the head of an ancestral house among the clans of Israel. And basically when they pull up, they say, thus says the whole community of the Lord, what act of treachery is this that you have committed against the God of Israel? This day you have turned from following the Lord by building an altar of your own, and you have rebelled against the Lord this day. It says, is the iniquity of Peor not enough, by which we have made ourselves impure, even to this day, and a plague came upon the community of the Lord? If today you turn away from following the Lord and rebel against the Lord, tomorrow he will be angry with the whole community of Israel. So they're like, what the heck are you doing? And then they say, if you consider the land you now possess unclean, cross over to the land the Lord possesses, where the tabernacle of the Lord stands, and share that with us, but do not rebel against the Lord, nor involve us in rebellion by building an altar of your own in addition to the altar of the Lord our God. It says, when Achan, son of Zerah, acted treacherously by violating the ban, was it not upon the entire community of Israel that wrath fell? Though he was but a single man, he did not perish alone for his guilt. So they're basically saying, if you do this, we're all going to be facing the punishment. And they're like, if the land if the land that you have is unclean, just leave it and just come with us, and just come back to the Lord so that we don't all get cooked. And This is the reply of the eastern tribes, so of the Reubenites, the Gadonites, and the half tribe of Manasseh. And so honestly, I thought they were gonna be like, yeah, like we're turning against y'all, and it was just gonna be their cooked. But I was wrong. So it says that they replied to the Israelite clans, "The Lord is the God of gods, the Lord the God of gods knows, and Israel shall know. If now we have acted out of rebellion or treachery against the Lord our God, do not try to save us this day. And if we have built an altar of our own to turn from following the Lord, or to sacrifice burnt offerings, grain offerings, or communion sacrifices upon it, the Lord himself will exact the penalty. But we did it rather out of our anxious concerns, that in the future your children should say to our children, what have you to do with the Lord, the God of Israel?" So they're basically saying that like their fear is that in the future the mainland, I'm gonna call them the mainland Israelites, that their kids are gonna talk to the across the Jordan Israelites and be like, basically calling them like outsiders, like not considering them, the same. And that's like what their fear is. So that's why they built this altar. And it says, "For the Lord has placed the Jordan as a boundary between you and us. You Reubenites and Gadonites, you have no share in the Lord. Thus your children would prevent ours from revering the Lord. So we thought, let us act for ourselves by building this altar of our own, not for burnt offerings or sacrifice, but as a witness between us and you and our descendants, that we have the right to provide for the service of the Lord in his presence with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and communion sacrifices. Now in the future your children cannot say to our children, you have no share in the Lord." So, okay, and then it says, "Our thought was that if in the future they should speak thus to us or to our descendants, we could answer, look at the copy of the altar of the Lord which our ancestors made, not for burnt offerings or for sacrifices, but to witness between you and us. Far be it from us to rebel against the Lord, or to turn now from following the Lord by building an altar for burnt offerings or sacrifice, in addition to the altar of the Lord our God, which stands before his tabernacle." And so they're like, we would never do that, basically. Like, we would never turn against the Lord. And so they're basically saying that they're building this altar to be a witness between the two, sides of Israel, that they all equally, oh my gosh, excuse me, that they all equally, get a share of the Lord, basically. So the other tribes, the mainland Israelites, hear this and they are satisfied. And so they basically reply and they say, "Today we know that the Lord is in our midst, since you have not rebelled against the Lord by this act of treachery. You have delivered the Israelites from the hand of the Lord." And then, all these leaders and all the mainland Israelite leaders return to Israel and report the matter to them. And it says that the report satisfied the Israelites, who blessed God and decided not to take military action against the Reubenites, Gadonites, nor to ravage the land where they lived. And it says the Reubenites and the Gadonites gave the altar its name as a witness among them to the Lord, or as a witness among them that the Lord is God. Oh gosh. Wait, what the heck? What the heck? Okay. I don't know why my flash just turned off. But the last thing I'll say is that the name of the altar was the Hebrew word for witness. So yeah. Pretty interesting chapter. I thought that was gonna go south, but it went north, I guess. So it went well. But that leaves 2 more chapters in the book of Joshua. And that is it for today. But to end this video, or after I end this video, I'm gonna show y'all one of the most ridiculous Clash Royale games I've ever played. So oh my gosh, I want to pop my thumb. Ow. So the level 16 update came out, and it might be the worst update in Clash Royale history. So I'll just show y'all. The game will explain itself. But yeah, besides that, here's the macros for the day. And yeah, like if you want, comment if you want, subscribe if you want, and I will see y'all tomorrow for day 100.